Diddy was extra arrogant, and the length of time, I think, is incredibly persuasive and moving for the judge. Obviously, this is not something that happened once or twice and he got his hand caught in the cookie jar. This was built into what Diddy did. This was his culture, and he was truly lawless, just to put it where it really is. And so, the judge has been very honest about, I don't think that this deters you. And, I tell you, that tracks with me. Maybe we're all wrong, but to go off of what we've had happen and had said and had done and the trial record, that's not unreasonable for the judge to say that.
It's absolutely wrong. The jury verdict was disregarded, and it's not supposed to happen. You shouldn't do that. Going to trial is already hard enough. When the jury speaks, you need to listen.
I think it sends the wrong message to people.
This is wrong. We have to change the way we look at it. We are incarcerating way too many people. So 2 years is an eternity.
Y'all, it's official. Diddy has been sentenced. But for many, this feels like yet another painful reminder that when you have money and influence, accountability often looks different. No matter how much evidence is stacked against them, the wealthy rarely face the full consequences of their actions. The internet has been on fire since the announcement. Some people are furious, saying Diddy got nothing more than a slap on the wrist after his victims risked everything to testify against him. Others believe justice was served. But one person who's never been shy about her opinion on Diddy is Kimora Lee, and what she's been saying since the sentencing makes it clear that she's still grieving the loss of her close friend Kim Porter and angry over how Diddy treated her. What exactly went down in court? And why does Kimora believe Diddy didn't get the punishment he truly deserved? Let's break it down. Diddy's sentencing hearing took place on Friday, October 3rd, and from the very start, it was emotional. His defense team brought in all 6 of his children to plead with the court, asking that their father be allowed to return home. Even his attorney, Brian Steele, reportedly got emotional in front of the judge, saying through tears, "I sit here with tears in my eyes. I can't believe we're here. Sean has impacted America in such a positive way." Steele went on to describe Diddy's past, saying his father was killed when he was just 3 years old, that he worked harder than anyone, and that tragedy and trauma followed him throughout his life, from the loss of his best friend in a drive-by shooting to his battle with addiction. The attorney admitted that Diddy had hurt people, including Cassie Ventura, but insisted that he had taken responsibility and prayed for everyone he'd wronged. Diddy himself also submitted a 4-page letter to the judge, apologizing for his actions. He wrote, "I am so sorry for the hurt I caused. I know that words alone can never erase the pain from the past." His defense asked for a 14-month sentence, which would have made him eligible for release by the end of the year with time served. But prosecutors pushed back hard. They argued that Diddy had every opportunity and resource to change, and never did. They told the court that his sentence needed to reflect the weight of the evidence and the severity of his actions, describing him as a man who committed terrible acts for his own gratification. When it came time for Judge Aaron Subramanian to deliver the sentence, the tension in the courtroom was thick. The judge clarified that Diddy wasn't being punished for charges he was acquitted of, such as racketeering and sex trafficking, but he emphasized that, under federal law, Section 3553, he had to consider all relevant factors when determining a fair sentence. The judge acknowledged the positive impact Diddy had made in the Black community, but firmly stated that no amount of good could erase the damage he caused to his victims. The evidence of abuse was overwhelming. He described Diddy's freak-offs and long-standing pattern of control as deeply harmful, noting that Diddy had the money, power, and influence to stop, but chose not to. With how strongly the judge spoke, many people expected a tougher sentence, most predicting anywhere from 5 to 7 years behind bars. But what Diddy ultimately received has left many wondering whether justice was truly served.
Calculate the sentencing guidelines. So you're going to hear discussion of a lot of different numbers, base offense levels, enhancements for leader or organizer, vulnerable victim, force or coercion, multiple victims, grouping. So you'll see the judge do a calculation, and once he's done with that calculation, he's going to come up with a sentencing range and likely impose Diddy to a sentence within that range.
The judge also noted that while Diddy claims he's sorry and insists he's changed, his actions tell a very different story. After the Cassie video surfaced and he issued that public apology, authorities later found materials in his room that pointed to the same kind of freak-off behavior, and Jane Doe even testified that those incidents continued afterward. Because of that, the judge said a firm sentence was necessary to send a clear message. He rejected the defense's request for 14 months, calling it far too lenient, but also decided that the 11 years the prosecution asked for would be excessive. After weighing all the evidence and relevant factors, the court settled on a 50-month prison sentence, about 4 years and 2 months, along with a $500,000 fine and 5 years of supervised release once his time is served. Since Diddy wasn't convicted under RICO, he'll be allowed to keep his assets and business holdings. Ultimately, the judge gave him less than half of what the prosecution pushed for and even below what the probation department recommended. Considering Diddy has already spent 14 months in custody, that time will be credited, leaving him with roughly 3 years left to serve. And with the potential for early release due to good behavior, it's entirely possible he could be walking free sooner than most people expect.
If you look at this on balance and put it in perspective, he is a big winner today. Let me explain why. When we started out this trial with regard to the racketeering charges, he's running a criminal enterprise, he was facing life in jail. In addition to life in jail, which his liberty interest would have been gone, he was facing the forfeiture of all of his assets.
Yeah.
Now, right, he beats the charges, 3 of them at least, and he gets sentenced now on the other 2, transportation for prostitution.
So, on paper, this might look like a win for Diddy and his legal team, but in reality, not so much. And child, when I tell you Diddy broke down in that courtroom, I mean broke down. According to sketches and reports from inside, he was completely blindsided by the sentence. He genuinely believed he'd be walking out a free man that day. People who were there said Diddy looked stunned, even angry, as the judge read the verdict. This is someone who had already gone so far as to schedule public appearances and speaking events, clearly confident that he'd be released right after sentencing. So when things didn't go his way, that hit his ego hard. To make matters worse, his legal team wasted no time announcing that they're filing an appeal. They called the outcome a major disappointment and even took subtle shots at the judge, accusing him of acting like a 13th juror and claiming Diddy was unfairly punished.
There is a human being now in custody for 50 months.
Diddy was just sharing.
Based upon conduct that a jury heard, the jury resolved, and the jury rejected. It is really a sad day for everybody.
I don't feel
involved.
that way. We are planning to appeal. We think we have strong bases to appeal. The strongest basis is that the jury reached a verdict on coercion. It found there was not coercion, and I think the judge said coercion today as a basis for a sentence at least a dozen times. The jury's verdict was resoundingly clear. There was no sex trafficking, there was no racketeering, everything was consensual, everything was adult, which is why he was convicted only of the prostitution offense. What we feel happened today was that the judge acted as a 13th juror, one that we did not choose.
If that isn't a slap in the face to the court, then what is? And if Diddy truly was a changed man, like his team kept insisting, why hasn't he taken real accountability? Why not own up to what he's done and serve his time without excuses? For Kimora, who reportedly followed the trial closely, Diddy's behavior and that of his team were proof enough that he hasn't changed one bit. She believes he doesn't genuinely feel remorse for the pain he caused the women in his life, including her close friend, Kim Porter. Yes, Diddy may have accomplishments to his name, but let's be real, he's not like a man who made one mistake and learned from it. This was a lifestyle for him, one that lasted more than 2 decades and hurt countless people along the way. Some even believe Kim Porter may have lost her life because of it. And after all that, the man walks away with what feels like a slap on the wrist. Kimora's not buying it, not now, not ever.
Well, I was surprised it wasn't more, quite frankly. Based on the prosecutors wanted 11 years. The judge, as we know, said he would be considering things outside of the conviction. And so and wouldn't give him $1 million bond. I think later he offered $50 million, and you wouldn't give him a bond. So no, I thought he was going to bring the hammer down a little harder. But 5 years is 5 years, 4 years and 2 months rather.
Let's be honest. Deep down, everyone knows Diddy doesn't truly believe he did anything wrong. If anything, he might walk out of prison ready to settle scores. 4 years behind bars? That just doesn't sit right with a lot of people. After more than 2 decades of alleged abuse, intimidation, and exploitation, many feel that sentence is far too light. Some even call it a disgrace, saying someone who's hurt so many people, both men and women, for so long should face far more time. And now, reports that he's already booking events as if he's about to walk free only add to the frustration. That kind of arrogance says it all, and this comment here sums it up perfectly. Diddy didn't apologize out of remorse. He did it to reduce his sentence. But what do you think? Did he get off easy? And do you believe he's truly sorry for what those victims went through? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next video.